two-stroke power, baby. It'll rip your face right off. We'll go through the snow over there. Hell yeah! Listen to this thing rip. Nothing like sending it. That's the most fun I've had since the last time I rode a hot 80. Wizard tune, baby, wizard tune. What a kick-ass ride. Man, I wish there was someplace I could have took it fifth gear tapped. I couldn't get out of fourth gear in the back here. This thing is an absolute rocket ship. We put a lot of time and effort into this bike. This has been in the shop for months. We just finished it, and it is absolutely awesome. This is a 1987 Honda CR80R. If you had one of these back in 87, you were the hot shit. Long travel, it looks like it has almost a foot of suspension travel on the front, probably more like 10 inches. But look at the back with the Pro Link. Kick-ass suspension. This is a two-stroke 80cc liquid-cooled CDI ignition, reed pedal valve, two-stroke liquid-cooled Ripper, 80 cc's. It's light, fast, fun, easy to work on, and it's just been massaged thoroughly here by the team here. Now, here's the bad news. We put, in addition to the price of buying it, we also put $2,791 into the bike. The previous owner had rebuilt the top end of the motors. The top end was new, and the compression checked out perfect on it, and the top end looked like new, but the problem was the crank seals were leaking, and also it needed a new ignition. So we had to do an extensive rebuild of a lot of the major components on the motor. The top end is probably the easiest thing to do. That was already done. So we had to swap the complete ignition system. It has a new flywheel, new stator, new CDI box, and a coil. Go ahead and price one of those out for this. You'll see what I'm talking about. We also took the exhaust out, cleaned it inside and out, thoroughly sanded it and painted it with a high temp black, put a new exhaust gasket on it, removed the clutch cover and the clutch. The basket was not, so we filed the basket and put it back in. We had to put a new right side crank seal and a new left side crank seal, so it has new crank seals in addition to the new top end. The tank rubbers were replaced. The engine coolant was placed, the engine oil was replaced, and there's a parts list I'll go over in a second here. Now I'll go over some of the more obvious stuff, because that stuff I just said you can't see inside of the motor. The tank was cleaned out, a new fuel line was installed, the carburetor was rebuilt, it has a new air filter, the air box was cleaned and sealed, and the filter was oiled. Again, new gear oil, so the motor's sorted out. The original factory shrouds are in good shape, it has the original seat cover, the original plastics. I believe these are the original plastics on it, I'm not positive, but they look to be OEM original. The frame is in excellent condition. The forks, the wheels, everything's. Well, Junior wants to show you the frame rails. This is something we always recommend checking out, and these frame rails are in excellent condition. They're not caved in or flattened out. I can't see it from where I am, but how's it look to you, Junior?
Good. On that side.
I didn't feel any bumps there.
No, I didn't see any.
This side of the frame rail is also in excellent condition. Obviously a bike that wasn't woods ridden or raced in rocky territory. The original expansion chamber has got dents in the front of it. I don't know why we didn't take those out, but actually I do know why. We kind of had to draw a line in the sand here. If we keep on going at $90 an hour, it adds up pretty quick. We struggled with should we replace the original seat cover or leave it alone, but the price of the seat cover is $50 and another hour labor, so you're into it for $120. Doing the pipe would probably be a couple hours labor, so it keeps on adding up, and we just had to draw a line. We want to be able to sell this affordably, okay? So we did all the major stuff. If you want to replace the seat cover, go ahead. If you want to have a pipe specialist remove the dings out of the pipe, go ahead. It won't change the way the bike runs. And that was the main thing. Looking at the controls, everything's brand new. Brand new top of the line Renthal handlebars, new throttle assembly, new Uri grips, a new brake lever, new clutch perch with new hardware and a new lever. The kill switch is new. The graphics on the shrouds are brand new. And I'll go over the other miscellaneous stuff. The front brake was flushed and refilled and bled. The front brake calipers had to be rebuilt because the pins were seized. Let's see, Wizard's handwriting is a little, so he bounces around a little bit here, so I struggle with his work orders a bit, but it's all here. Let's see. I already mentioned the clutch lever, the engine coolant. Oh, he also rebuilt the entire water pump, which is no small task on this. The crank seals. Let's see. Obviously mounted new front tire, Bridgestone tire on the front and tube, new rear tire and tube. He actually couldn't rebuild the front caliper. There was something wrong with it, so he replaced the front brake caliper with new front brake pads. You can see the caliper looks to be new. It's a rebuilt original OEM single piston caliper with new pads and new fluid, so the brake's totally sorted out. That's about it that I can see here. Oh, also a new gold chain. That's kind of an obvious thing. New rear tire and tube. The compression test, this is on page 4 of the work order, 175 PSI, which is about as stout as you're gonna get in a, I'm 240 pounds with my gear on, and this thing hauls ass. So I can only imagine with an 80-pound kid on it what it's gonna do. Let's see. The water pump was completely rebuilt. New water pump seals, new bearings, and a new spindle shaft, and a new clutch cover gasket. So that's something, these 80s two-stroke Hondas right here, this water pump, zoom in on that. That's an area to be concerned. If you're buying some Craigslist special that just needs a carb clean, let me tell you, these water pumps, if it's been sitting, you gotta know what you're doing to do that, and the water pump's been completely rebuilt along with the crank seals and everything else I mentioned. So, let's see. I'll go down the 4th page, which is mainly the parts list. New bars, new kill switch, new throttle housing and tube, the water pump rebuild kit, Honda spindle shaft, new OE. Those are OEM Honda grips. I thought they were worries. Those are actual OEM Honda grips. New brake pads, new 420 gold chain, new air filter, new crank seals, new clutch perch and lever, new tires and tubes, blah, blah, blah. So there you have it. 4 pages of notes over the course of a couple months that the bike had been in and out of the shop and on and off the shelf. We're going to have the boys give it a quick wipe down detail because I just got it a little dirty before it goes back in the museum. We'll have them wash it one more time. Just a kick-ass, fun, classic two-stroke. Junior, is there anything you'd like to add about this classic 80?
Guys, mint frame on this one. It's been sorted. Motor's super tight. Wheels are straight. Definitely an investment quality piece, and it's not going to break the bank. This one's going to be sold reasonably, so good luck bidding.
Even the fork lowers, the aluminum on the fork lowers was polished. The rims are nice and clean. Here's the bottom line on the work order for this bike. 23 hours labor. We charge $90 an hour. We should be charging $125 for the quality of the techs that we have working on these. But in any event, reasonable $90 an hour, at least in New England. You might be down south or someplace else that's less expensive. Call any shop in New England. You won't find anybody who'll do the work for less than $90 an hour. It's expensive to live up here. Just the heating bills. The heating bill alone for this place is ridiculous. So in any event, 23 hours labor plus parts and tax that came to $2,791. That's why we had to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, the seat cover's got a couple rips in it, you know, and the pipe's got a couple dings, but you know what? Somebody else can take it to the next level and pick away at it. If you know, if we have to put if we got $2,800 into it plus the cost of the bike, if we have to set the reserve over $5,000, we're going to be married to it, and we didn't want to price it out of the ballpark, so it's going to be priced affordably, and it's a kick-ass machine, as I just demonstrated. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. More kick-ass two-strokes coming your way from the capital of vintage motocross two-strokes, Rockville, Connecticut. God bless America.